You've seen the rocket launches 1,000 times. The massive engines, the cheering crowds. Sending humans to Mars just feels inevitable. It's just a really long road trip, right? You pack your bags, touch down, and when you are done, you fire up the ship and come back home. Wrong. Leaving Earth is hard, but returning from Mars? The universe has quietly locked the door. Today, you are going to discover a beautiful, terrifying truth about energy and gravity, a cosmic rule that will completely change how you look at our place in the stars. When we picture sending humans to Mars, our brains play a trick on us. We use the only frame of reference we have, a road trip. You pack the trunk, step on the gas, and cruise down the highway. If the journey is longer, you just bring a bigger gas tank or stop at a station along the way. We treat the universe like it is just a really long, empty stretch of asphalt. But space is not a highway. And Earth is absolutely not a flat parking lot. Here is what Earth actually is. Imagine you are standing at the very bottom of a colossal crater, a pit so deep the walls disappear into the clouds. You are not parked. You are trapped at the absolute bottom of a massive, invisible hole. Physicists have a fancy term for this. They call it a gravity well. But let us just call it what it is. A trap. A very deep, very greedy pit that grips onto everything and refuses to let go. Every time you drop a cup, every time you jump and your feet hit the floor, that is the pit pulling you back down to the bottom. Now, imagine trying to climb out of that impossible canyon. It takes a tremendous amount of energy. You sweat, your lungs burn, and your muscles ache just lifting your own body weight. Now imagine climbing that same sheer cliff face while carrying a backpack that weighs 10,000 pounds. That is what a rocket is doing. It is not calmly driving along a road. It is violently hauling itself, inch by inch, straight up out of a hole that is millions of feet deep. It is fighting the entire crushing mass of the planet with every single millimeter it climbs. The sheer physical effort, the raw violence required just to peek over the edge of that hole, is staggering. You do not just need a little bit of gas to make the trip. You need a literal ocean of fire just to reach the starting line. But here is where reality starts to break your heart. Fuel is heavy, really, really heavy. So, what do we need to do to carry all that incredibly heavy liquid fire up the side of the canyon? If you want to carry all that heavy fuel up the walls of the gravity well, you need to build a bigger rocket. But a bigger rocket is heavier. So, to lift that heavier rocket, you need more fuel. But wait, now that you have added more fuel, the rocket is even heavier than before. Which means you need even more fuel just to lift the fuel you just added to lift the rocket. It is a trap, a vicious, inescapable cycle. Scientists call this the tyranny of the rocket equation. It is a fundamental law of nature that punishes you for every single ounce of weight you try to take into space. Think about what a rocket launch actually is. It looks like a smooth pillar of fire riding into the sky. But underneath, on a microscopic level, it is an absolute catastrophe. It is pure, contained violence. Inside those engines, atoms are being forced together. They are snapping, tearing each other apart, jiggling with so much ferocious energy that they explode out the bottom. And all of that roaring, screaming chemical violence, billions of atoms destroying themselves every fraction of a second, all of that is happening just to push a giant metal tube a few inches off the ground. The vast, overwhelming majority of the energy in a rocket is not used to lift the astronauts. It is not used to lift the food or the rovers. It is used entirely to lift its own fuel. You are burning an ocean of fire just to lift another ocean of fire. That is the price the universe demands just to let you out of Earth's gravity well. The toll is astronomical. By the time a ship finally breaks free and begins its long, quiet drift toward Mars, almost everything it started with is gone. The massive boosters, the giant tanks, the millions of gallons of liquid fire, all burned away, cast off, completely exhausted just to get out the front door. And this brings us to the real problem. The terrifying reality of the Mars dream. You have survived the impossible climb. You have touched down on the red dust. But the trip is not over. You still have to come home. Here is what most people think. They think about the gravity on Mars. They know it is weak. Only about 1/3 of the gravity we have here on Earth. So they think coming back will be the easy part. You just fire up the engines, easily escape that weak Martian pull, and sail on home. But that is not it. Not even close. Because here is the brutal reality of the red planet. It is an empty, dead rock. There are no launch pads. There are no fuel refineries. There is no gas station waiting for you when you land. If you want to blast off from the surface of Mars, you need a massive, completely full rocket already sitting there on the red dirt. But how did it get there? Where did all that heavy liquid fuel come from? You had to bring it with you. All the way from Earth. And this is where the dream hits a solid brick wall. This is where the universe simply says no. Think about the nightmare of lifting weight we just talked about. If it takes an absolute catastrophe of fire, a literal skyscraper of fuel, just to lift a tiny, empty capsule off the Earth, imagine what it takes to lift an entire, fully fueled return rocket. You do not just have to lift it. You have to push that enormous weight millions of miles across the dark of space. And then, you have to gently, carefully lower that massive, explosive tube of liquid fire down onto the Martian surface without breaking it. How big does the rocket on Earth have to be to do that? To carry another full rocket all the way to Mars? It is almost unthinkable. You would need to build a launch vehicle the size of a mountain. A literal mountain of metal and roaring fire, sitting on a pad here on Earth, burning an unimaginable ocean of fuel, just to safely drop one single return vehicle onto another planet. You are hauling a trap inside of another trap. Suddenly, that weak Martian gravity does not matter at all, because to even get the chance to use it, you have to drag everything you need through the brutal, punishing gravity of Earth first. The universe does not give you a discount. It makes you pay the toll twice. But why is the toll so high? Why is it so incredibly hard to lift something, anything, into space? It feels like we are doing something wrong. Like there must be a better, more efficient way to power a rocket. Richard Feynman, one of the most brilliant minds to ever look at the universe, understood exactly why. He saw past the giant engines and the roaring flames, right down to the tiny, invisible world where the real problem hides. Let us shrink down to the level of atoms. If you want to move a rocket, you need energy. Right now, the best way we have to get that energy is chemical. We burn things. We take atoms that really want to be together, like oxygen and hydrogen, and we let them slam into each other. When they snap together, they lock into place. And that snap releases a little jolt of energy. A tiny, microscopic kick. Imagine it like a heavy ball rolling down a hill and crashing into a rock at the bottom. Bam! Energy is released. That is what a chemical reaction is. Trillions of tiny balls rolling down tiny hills, crashing together and creating the roaring fire that pushes the rocket. But here is what Feynman realized. Here is the tragic flaw built into the very fabric of our universe. The hill those atoms are rolling down? It is very small. The energy you get from snapping two atoms together, the chemical energy of fire, is incredibly weak compared to the monstrous, relentless pulling force of a planet's gravity. Gravity is a giant, a quiet, patient, overwhelmingly powerful giant. And chemical energy? Chemical energy is just a whisper. You are trying to fight a mountain using a million tiny firecrackers. It works, technically. If you have enough firecrackers, you can push a small piece of metal up the mountain. But the inefficiency is staggering. You need a mountain of firecrackers just to move a pebble. And you cannot cheat this. You cannot engineer a better fire. The limits of chemical energy are hardwired into the atoms themselves. It is a cosmic speed limit on how much power we can squeeze out of burning things. The universe has set the price of admission. It has decided exactly how much energy it takes to climb out of a gravity well. And it has also decided exactly how little energy we get from lighting things on fire. We are trapped between these two absolute rules of nature. It is a cosmic tax. And you cannot evade it. You cannot negotiate it. To leave, you must pay in fire, and the exchange rate is terrible. So what does this incredibly cruel imbalance actually mean for us? What does it mean that the universe made the silent pull of a planet so overwhelmingly strong and the loud, violent snap of our chemical fires so fundamentally weak? It means we are anchored. Deeply, profoundly anchored to the rock we were born on. When you walk outside at night and look up at the glowing Mars, it is easy to imagine that we are standing on the shore of a vast cosmic ocean, just waiting to build the right ship to set sail. But that is the illusion. We are not on a shore. We are sitting at the very bottom of the steepest, darkest trench imaginable, and the universe has bolted us to the floor. But here is the beautiful, heartbreaking twist of this cosmic rule. That invisible chain, the very thing that makes leaving so impossibly hard, is also the exact reason we exist in the first place. Think about it. If gravity was just a little bit weaker, if the walls of our gravity well were just a little bit lower, sure, our rockets could fly away with ease. We could hop from planet to planet like skipping stones. But if gravity were that weak, it could not hold onto our atmosphere. The air you are breathing right now would drift away into the freezing void. The oceans would evaporate into nothingness. And what if those chemical bonds, the snap of those tiny atoms, were stronger? What if lighting a fire gave us the massive, world-breaking energy we actually need to easily conquer gravity? If atoms snapped together with that kind of catastrophic violence, they could never form the delicate, fragile chains of molecules that make up biology. They could never form a leaf. They could never form blood. They could never form you. The exact same physics that make space travel a devastating, almost insurmountable nightmare are the exact same physics that allow a planet to safely harbor life. We are not just trapped on Earth. We are held by it. Earth is a walled garden, and the walls are incredibly high. The universe built those walls to protect the garden, to keep the air in and the cold out. But a wall that keeps you safe is also a wall that keeps you inside. To go to Mars, to actually leave this garden and try to come back, means fighting the very forces that gave us life. So, the next time you watch a rocket slowly, violently tear itself off the launch pad, do not just look at the flames. Look at the invisible, crushing weight it is fighting. Realize that you are watching a fragile piece of human engineering battling the very forces that keep us alive. We are trying to break the deepest rules of the cosmos using nothing but the tiny, weak snap of chemical atoms. We are fighting a mountain with firecrackers. It is a beautiful, almost impossible struggle. But it does make you wonder. If the chemical fire of snapping atoms is so incredibly weak against the giant, patient pull of gravity, is there a stronger fire? What if we did not rely on the fragile bonds of chemistry at all? What if we could tap into the heart of matter itself, the same blinding, terrifying energy that keeps the sun burning in the dark void of space? How exactly do you capture a star and put it inside an engine to finally break free of the well? Well, that is a different story. For now, the next time you step outside into the night and look up at the quiet, distant glow of Mars, I will leave you with something to imagine.